Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. This time I am reviewing M.F.A. This is a drama thriller film from 2017 directed by Natalia Leite, or Light, and it stars Francesca Eastwood, Leah McKendrick, Clifton Collins Jr., and Peter Vack. In this film, after the accidental death of a rapist, an art student becomes an unlikely vigilante set out to avenge college girls whose rapists were not charged. So, what did I think of M.F.A? I have seen this film before. It's one of the random movies I watched on Prime back when I still was on Prime Video a lot. I am no longer subscribing to fucking Amazon Prime because they're choosing to change their agreement once again. But enough about that. What did I think of M.F.A? Well, I really liked it. I do. Um, I think it is a really, really solid film. And I think that the fact that Francesca Eastwood really hasn't found any bigger roles after this is a bit of a shame. Let me get to the cast. Francesca Eastwood plays Noelle. She's an art student. She gets raped at a party and accidentally kills her rapist. And then she decides to go on um, and become a vigilante against other rapists that weren't charged for the crimes, like I said. Francesca Eastwood is, yes, a part of the Eastwood family, Clint Eastwood, Scott Eastwood, um, that whole family. Um, and I think she's one of the better actors post Clint Eastwood because you're always going to get that thing of, oh, she got this role because she's a Nepo baby. But while she's not as good of an actor as Clint Eastwood, I can at least say, uh, sorry, I was eating sweet tarts. I can at least say that she does a really good job here. Um, she does a great job playing the trauma after the event, her trying to be strong afterwards, trying to live her normal life afterwards. And I do think she was the right choice for this type of role. Um, Leah McKendrick plays Sky. She's basically her neighbor and friend at the housing unit she lives in. It might be on campus. They never exactly state that, but um she's good. She's basically a friend to her whenever she needs help. And I think with this character you could have easily made her very annoying. Um where she does kind of have a little bit of a like yeah, like that kind of energy to her, but for the most part, they didn't rely on that, and it felt like an actual character, and I didn't mind watching her. Turns out this Leah McKendrick, I've never heard of her. Apparently, she's been in other things. She was in Misconduct, Bad Moms, and she also co-wrote this, or she wrote the film, and produced it. So this is kind of her and Natalia Light's baby, or late, and I do think she did a good job with the writing and acting. Clifton Collins Jr. plays Kennedy. He is a cop character that is chasing after Francesca Eastwood's character. He doesn't know that she did the crimes yet, but I like Clifton Collins Jr. Seen him in quite a few things. He was in I have to look on this list and find what I've seen him in. The Mule, great movie. Um, Boondock Saints 2, he was fine. Decent movie, I guess. Fortress. The Vault, also with Francesca Eastwood. I'm guessing The Vault was made around the same time as this. Let me see. Came out the same year. Different director, but same year. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I do think he did a good job. He's not in the film that much. He's just kind of there to be a cop character. This could have been played by anyone. And Peter Vag plays Luke, who is Francesca Eastwood's character's rapist. I like that they didn't play him so over the top with the whole rape thing. They That's a good thing about this movie is that it doesn't play a lot of these events too over the top. It tries to be a bit more down to earth and realistic about it. And I liked how he played it. Um, More unassuming, and they didn't play him as a cartoon, which would have taken away from the brutal event that happens. Now, I'm not going to say trigger warning because I hate that term, and honestly, with the best intentions in mind, if you can't watch a movie like this just because the subject triggers you, I would suggest you get therapy. If you've been through it, I can understand 100%, but I'd say it's better to live life without being able to care about something like that in that way where it detracts from your entertainment value viewing the film. Now, this is not a film that's meant to be like, woo, yeah, kill the rapist. It's a bit more it's a bit more of a self exploration for this character of Noelle, where yes, she's glad that she's getting revenge on these people, but she's not enjoying it as in like, ooh, she enjoys the murder. She's legitimately trying to make the world a better place because she's tired of all of these groups that aren't really doing anything to stop things. They're more interested in preventing or getting ready. Like there's a scene where she's with uh an anti-sexual assault group, and they're talking about using this nail polish that'll tell you if your drink is spiked. And she's like, why are we talking about things to prevent men that are already going to rape us instead of preventing the rape itself, like preventing the men from raping? And with a scene like this, it could easily come off as, oh, all men are rapists. This film never goes that stupid with its premise. And it even calls into question certain female figures because there is a woman that works at the college that she's at in the counseling division, and she's basically, whenever a rape victim comes forward, she basically asks them like, "Oh, were you sober? Were you drunk? Did you say no?" Trying to like devalue their experience, basically treating them like they wanted it. And this is a real thing that happens. And I'm usually not into this type of social commentary, but I think this film did it the right way, where it doesn't feel in your face. It feels just enough in your face to get the point across, and it works. Because so many movies nowadays with feminist leaning politics in the narrative really do tend to make it like, oh, all women are perfect, all men are bad, which there have been films I've seen recently that kind of did that. And it does piss me off when it's like, oh, female action movie, and the villain is a man, and all of the henchmen are men, and it's like trying to go on this thing about like all men are bad. There's a movie that I think is decent, but it does do this. It's called Never Let Go, and it does basically the worst thing the thing I hate seeing the most in those types of movies, where literally every male character in the movie doesn't trust the female characters. They don't trust their intuition. They basically just all the male characters are either thieves, murderers, human traffickers, or twist villains. And that kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth as not just as a man, but as a human being. Like I'm like, not all you can't just say all of this certain gender or race or whatever are like this, because you know what? Real human issues are a lot more complicated than that. But for the most part, the film doesn't beat you over the head with politics shit. For the most part, it stays pretty true to what it's trying to tell. Um, it's definitely a hard film to watch at times. The rape scene is quite brutal in how it's portrayed. It's insanely well acted by Francesca Eastwood, and yes, it is hard to watch. Now, as somebody who's watched a lot of, well, maybe not a lot of rape revenge films, but I've seen worse things, but it still does get under my skin a little. And it's okay to say that. I'm not saying it triggered me, but it is something that if you don't know about what do if you bleh, sorry. If you don't know what the film is about going into it, yeah, I can see you being put off by the film. If you know that it's a rape revenge film, then I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. If you're already seeking it out, I'd say yeah. Um Mm. And I do like in revenge films where they try to put like a thing between like, oh, they're getting revenge and something in their life changes. With this character, her art is kind of stale. She's not getting the reaction she wants out of people, and as she's doing it, she starts discovering what to paint, and her art gets better and better and more provocative. And to be honest, I am one of those people that's not a big fan of fine art or the newer art movements where everybody makes the joke. It looks like they just splattered paint on a canvas. This isn't that, but it is a little bit of that kind of pretentious art people thing. It doesn't get to the point where it annoyed me. It was more so just, oh, she has to make these pretentious art people praise her stuff. When to be honest, what she was making beforehand was still pretty interesting, but according to them, it's just basically something she's done over and over. So I did like that, and I can't tell if this is an anti-revenge film or not, because there are parts where you're obviously supposed to be like, yes, she got the rapists. And then there's other parts where things happen because of that that are out of her control. And basically she suffers consequences at times because of it. And I can't really tell with movies like this. I feel like there aren't really any movies that are going full force on it because the film does make an argument about like both sides of revenge. And to be honest, most people will say, yes, that's what all revenge movies should do. I don't really agree. If a film is fully pro revenge, I don't think that makes it less of a good film. If it does it right, if it's enjoyable to watch revenge, then I'd say, yeah, the movie's doing something right. And there's a bunch of people online that'll say, oh, Boondock Saints didn't make enough of a dialogue of, oh, um, there's good things to revenge and there's bad things to revenge. And I'm like, yeah, but don't want to be like every movie. If you want to be fully anti-revenge, do that. Don't do what Death Sentence did, where it's like, oh, look at this cool action scene. Now his family's dead. And it's like, okay, are you anti-revenge or pro-revenge? Because you make the action scene look cool, you shoot it all stylistically, but then you beat people over the head of with oh, you weren't supposed to enjoy that even though we definitely filmed it as if it was supposed to be enjoyable. This film doesn't really do that. It doesn't try to lecture you on enjoying the revenge part. And to be honest, I found the ending really satisfying in a way. And in a way proving the point of the main character of um the people that get put in jail for this stuff or getting ridiculed are the people who are in all actuality doing the right thing. And a lot of the times the rapists will go free, and that is very sad to hear. It's sad to hear that there hasn't been as much change as there maybe should have been. Apparently this film came out around the same time as the Me Too movement was starting, and I'm not really the biggest on that movement, not because of calling out rapists, but a lot of the times during those things, a lot of people would have their careers ruined when they didn't do anything. And it was a lot of people latching on to a movement. So what we really should do is just listen to women and men. If anybody makes the argument that men can't be raped, you're a liar. We need to listen to all the women and men, encourage them to come forward as soon as it happens so that more people don't get hurt. If you're afraid that your career is going to die because of it, probably won't. If you come out about it, you'll probably have more people than ever because you've saved other women and men from being molested or raped. So I think that's really what you should take away from this film. But yeah, um, I do think it's a very well made film. It's got a really good score from I can't read this. Sonia Belusova. Very very great score. Really worked with the mysterious tone that the film was going for, and again, Francesca Eastwood knocked it out of the park with that leading performance. She has a lot of moments where she gets to really let loose with her acting. So, yeah, if you see it on Prime or on Blu-ray or whatever, pick it up. But yeah, um, that was my review of M.F.A. If you have any recommendations, or excuse me, if you've seen the film, let me know what you thought. Your thoughts were in the description. I keep doing that. Let me know what your thoughts were in the comments. If you have any recommendations, put those down there as well. And movie reviewer next door out.